Hi everyone, Jean-Pierre from teamtennis.fr. It's long since I haven't published on this channel. In fact, I don't find the time to publish both on my French channel and on this English channel, but I'm going to try to publish more videos in English. I'm going to try, it's not easy. Anyway, I wanted to make a video about this racket, the new Wilson Clash. Everybody talks about this racket. Wilson says it's a revolution, so I wanted to give you my feelings about this racket. I have recently tested the Clash 100 and the Clash 100 Tour. I'm going to talk to you about these rackets. First, I let you watch a part of a training session I did with these rackets and then I talk to you about them. Wilson Clash Tour. Que du champ en revers, que du champ en revers. Que du champ en revers. En coup droit si on veut. On n'est pas obligé. So we are going to talk about the Wilson Clash. Tennis Warehouse Europe sent me for a test. By the way, for your tennis equipment, I advise you to go at Tennis Warehouse Europe. I am partner with this website and it's very nice from you if you use my affiliate link to buy at Tennis Warehouse Europe. So you will help me continue the videos I'm doing on YouTube. And I'm going to try to make some more videos in English. You can find my affiliate link by clicking on the little eye somewhere here. My affiliate link is also in the description under the video and it appears also on the video. Okay guys, let's go. Let's talk about the Wilson Clash. So I have tested the Wilson Clash 100 and the Wilson Clash 100 Tour. Here I just have the Wilson Clash 100 because I've sent back to Tennis Warehouse Europe the Wilson Clash 100 Tour. I decided to keep this racket because I like it and in fact I'm going to try to switch to this racket. Anyway, both rackets have exactly the same look, the same appearance. I have tested both rackets with the same strings, Luxilon element 1.25 millimeters with a tension of 24 kilograms. Okay, let's go. Specifications of the racket, so you will see the differences. There are not many differences between the two rackets, and then I talk to you about my feelings when I played with the racket, which is in my opinion the most important thing. The weight of the racket, very important. For the Wilson Clash 100, the weight is unstrung 295 grams. For the Wilson Clash Tour, the weight is unstrung of 310 grams. The balance of the racket, very headlight racket. For the lighter one, the Wilson Clash 100, the balance is around 31 centimeter unstrung, and for the Wilson Clash Tour the balance is around 30.5 millimeters unstrung. So both rackets are headlight, which is going to give you a very good maneuverability, very good speed for your swings. String pattern, head size, the same for both rackets. So 100 square inch, 645 square centimeters for the head size, and for the string pattern 16 by 19. So this combination, head size, string pattern, is something very common and something very versatile. The beam width of the racket, the same all along the frame, 24.5 millimeters, rather big. But we'll see later that we need this beam width to have a decent amount of power. Okay, now I saved the best for last, the stiffness of the racket. It's maybe the revolutionary side of this racket. The stiffness rating of the both Wilson Clash is very low, it's 55. So low stiffness, what does it mean? It means that the racket are very flexible. A flexible tennis racket, what does it mean? It means less power, more control, more feelings, more comfort. But most of the time, very flexible racket, they lack power. They are for big hitters, but not for intermediate players. That's one thing that's going to be interesting with this racket, that you will have a very flexible racket. That's the goal of Wilson with this racket, to give players a very flexible racket, so comfort for the arm, feelings and so on, and at the same time a decent amount of power. That's what's interesting with this racket. Concerning the stiffness of the racket, there is something interesting. Most of the time when a racket flexes, it flexes in this dimension, okay? And with the Wilson Clash there is something more. It flexes in another dimension. It flexes also like this for players who use topspin with this kind of swings. And it flexes also in the third dimension. It flexes, it's going to be a bit hard to show you in a video, but it flexes also in this direction, like if the top of the racket could flex, but not the bottom of the racket. A bit hard to show you in the video. Okay, so the racket is able to flex in 3 dimensions, almost a 4th dimension. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you about my feelings on the court when I played with the racket, and in my opinion that's the most important thing. So first of all, concerning the stiffness of the racket, I was surprised by the feelings I had with the racket. I expected something else because I knew when I tried the racket that the stiffness was very low, so I expected maybe the frame to bend more than what I felt. In fact, I didn't feel the low stiffness of the racket when I hit the ball. Sometimes when I play with very flexible racket, I could feel the frame that flexes, that bends a little bit, and I don't like this feeling because I feel it's going to make me lack some precision. So I felt the frame rather stable. That was a good surprise. So that's interesting because the racket gives a good comfort. It's a very comfortable racket. The low stiffness is interesting. It gives you comfort, but at the same time you don't feel the frame that bends too much. So now I'm going to talk to you about the power of the racket. That's very important to choose a racket that gives you just the right amount of power that you need. And in my opinion, in my feelings with the Wilson Clash, there is an intermediate level of power. The rackets are not extremely powerful, and at the same time we cannot say that they are very control oriented. Okay, so with the Wilson Clash you will have intermediate level of power. For me personally, I have the good mix of power and control. So just be careful if you are looking for a racket that's going to give you a really big power, a very powerful racket. Maybe that's not a good choice. And at the same time, if you are looking for a very control-oriented racket, if you want to hit the ball, or if you have a flat shots with much power, maybe you are going to lack control with this racket. Now, to conclude with the power of the rackets, I'm going to try to make some comparisons with other rackets that maybe you already know. This racket, Wilson Clash, is less powerful than the Babolat Pure Drive, less powerful than the Babolat Pure Aero, and something close to the Babolat Pure Strike 100. Concerning head rackets, this racket, Wilson Clash, is more powerful than the Head Prestige, less powerful than the Head Instinct MP, less powerful than the Head Extreme MP, and something close to the Head Speed MP. Concerning Wilson rackets, this racket is less powerful than the Wilson Burn 100, more powerful than the Wilson Pro Staff, more powerful than the Wilson Blade, and something close to the Wilson Ultra 100. Now, if we talk about access to topspin, there is a very good access to topspin with this racket. Really, I've tried in different situations. Really, in any situations, I had a very good access to topspin with this racket. Okay, now concerning the maneuverability of the racket, very important for your feelings. I didn't know what to expect with the Wilson Clash. I knew the rackets were headlight, so that's interesting for the maneuverability. But at the same time, I knew about the beam width, 24.5 millimeters. Rather big, and it can reduce the maneuverability. I'm not used to such beam widths. And finally, I had a very good maneuverability. But personally, I had very good maneuverability with the Wilson Clash 100. Okay, so now to conclude on the Wilson Clash, that's an interesting racket. I don't know if it's a revolution, but there are some interesting things with this racket. The most interesting thing, in my opinion, is the low stiffness of the racket. You have a flexible racket, the benefits of a flexible racket without a bad size. You have the comfort, you have the feeling, but at the same time you have a decent amount of power. That's what I like with this racket. You also have a good maneuverability for your ground strokes and at the net. I had good feelings at the net, good maneuverability, nice feelings at impact, good precision. And on my serve, it wasn't so bad. My serve is a weak shot and I had good power on my serve. Really, that's interesting, very versatile racket. So you might be interested in this racket if you have any style of playing. You can use flat shots, but not with big power, because if you play with flat shots and with big power, you could lack control. You can have a topspin game. Okay, there is a very easy access to topspin with this racket, as long as you are looking for intermediate level of power. And you can also play at the net, because the racket is very easy to play at the net, very easy for the slice backhand. Very versatile racket. In the doubt, you should definitely try the racket to see which one you prefer. Personally, I prefer the lighter version because I had a very good maneuverability, and the 310 grams were a bit too heavy for me personally. Okay, I stop here with the Wilson Clash. I hope this video will help you. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comments of the video. Have fun playing tennis. Thank you for watching the video and see you soon in another video. Bye bye.